Welcome to Gaming with Scott presents Marvel Superheroes, a character development session. In these sessions, we meet our players, learn a bit about them, learn more about their characters, and get a glimpse at what drives them in our Marvel Superheroes live play podcasts. What makes a superhero? What drives the human condition to reach outside ourselves and perform heroic deeds? What makes a hero? Or a villain? Are these heroes fueled by thoughts of the greater good? Or are they motivated by revenge and only strive to burn a path to the ones who hurt them and their families? We hope to answer all these questions and more just after the music. Hi there, and welcome to Gaming with Scott. I'm here with Marty.
Hey.
And we are doing Marty, and I'm Scott, obviously. There you go, there's that one. And we are doing the initial character creation. So I've got a bunch of different things that we want to do. We want to go over your character, how we created it, what you've got going on, and then I've got some personal information questions. We're going to introduce you and the character, and then we'll go from there. Okay? So I've got some questions. Tell me about you as a gamer.
Myself as a gamer.
Yeah. What do you do? What have you played? How long have you been doing it?
Holy crap. Well, I've been gaming since, let's say, 93, 92.
Gosh, you're young.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I was 8th grade, 7th grade there. So yeah, I started gaming then. Started off first with D&D and got into a club at school at Avon. We gamed every Tuesday, and it was awesome. And at the time when I started gaming, like, I had really bad anger issues.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
unlike today.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What was the first game you played?
It was D&D. It was second ed. I only played for like 20 minutes. And that was it. And then the next game I played was D. And then after that, it was pretty much almost all vampire.
Okay. What have you been doing recently?
Besides your game?
Yeah.
The Obi-Wan s00e04 game.
Mm-hmm. Until
they moved to a place that I am not welcome. So
okay.
I can't go there.
Okay. Now, when you say, for our listeners at home who may not be familiar, when you say an Obi-Wan s00e04 game, what is that specifically?
One World by Night.
And what is s00e04?
s00e04 is the antithesis to the Camarilla, which...
And what universe is this in?
White Wolf, World of Darkness.
Okay. What's the species?
Vampire.
There you go. That's the word I wanted to come out. But
yeah,
go ahead.
Vampire. So I played s00e04 recently. I haven't really played much.
Now, have you? Let's jump somewhere in the middle. Have you ever gamed with me before?
Oh yeah.
What'd you play in?
Oh, it's Vampire.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh yeah.
Why?
When you were playing as a character.
Or running.
Okay.
Or let's talk about both. When I was a character.
When you're a character, it is so often that people walk through the door without any sort of idea of what they want to play or the gumption to actually play it. And it's nice to have someone that has both of those things down and running. Because then it gives everyone else anchor points on which to build a story, which becomes interesting the more people pile on. Because once you start building branches, other people start building branches off of that, and then you create the foundation of the game.
But isn't Vampire really just a superhero game?
Well, no.
I mean, we're creatures of the night with superpowers, right?
Yeah, but that's not a superhero game, is it?
Well...
That's a superpower game.
Ah, that's a good difference.
It's
okay.
a superpower game.
Okay, fair enough.
Because, I mean, you can have all sorts of violent fantasies in that game, whereas you play a superhero game, and that's not going to happen.
Not as much of that. No.
Yeah.
Not as a superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on who you're saving.
Okay. Well, and I've always liked your characters too. Your characters have come from a general direction, usually, but they've all been unique and they've all been decidedly darker. One of my biggest problems with the World of Darkness genre is that it's really the world of poor lighting or typically the world of, well, I put my hand up and shielded my eyes. Like, it's not really...
Joss Whedon's World of Darkness.
Right. Yeah. It's not really dark.
Yeah.
And you consistently come from a very dark place, which I've always enjoyed.
To me, that's the whole... If you're going to play in a World of Darkness game, play in a World of Darkness game. You know, if you're going to play in a superhero game, play a superhero in a superhero game. If you're going to play in any game, take the genre into account. Because if you're not, then you're not playing that game. You're playing your own little game. And really at that point, it's just dark fantasy mental masturbation. Really.
Right. Okay. So, games I've run before that you've played in.
The Sabat game.
Okay. Did you enjoy it?
The one Sabat LARP. I did. I had issues. I think we've been over those issues many times.
Barring that one name, Stan Porter.
Yes.
Barring that name, what'd you think of the experience?
It was fun. I had a lot of fun. I was trying to get to a point to where I could take the city by force from the players that were still in the dark Camarilla. It's like when you order chocolate milk and it's slightly discolored. No, I ordered chocolate milk. I want chocolate in my milk.
Okay.
Sorry.
Gotcha. No, that's
Am I
all
gonna
right.
bleep those out?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
I caught myself while I was saying,
Right.
oh yeah, he said not to. Okay, so I was trying to take it from him so that way I could institute a real Sabat game because they were the ones in power. And this is the thing that frustrated me the most. I was not allowed to unseat them if they weren't there. That frustrated the hell out of me.
Right.
So I had to wait until they showed up, and then when they showed up, there was this big storyline, and you were stuck in the scene, and there was no one else. And I was watching the clock tick by. I'm like, I have 40 minutes until they are gone, and then who knows how long I have to wait again. So I was like, I want to play something different. So I want to destroy these guys, set forth the Sabat as it should be, and then make a new character. And that didn't happen quite the way it should have.
Okay, but you had fun as a whole.
As a whole, fantastic.
Okay, good.
Fantastic. I wish more Sabat games were like that, because all the other Sabat games I go to, there's a lot of standing around, and it drives me nuts. Every Sabat game, there should be no standing around.
Oh yeah, none.
None.
It should be you should show up and
no
go,
excuse.
hey, how you? Oh gosh, we're gonna go do this.
There's no excuse.
Yeah.
So if that's happening, then you have a big issue, and that never really happened at your game.
Cool.
The feet were always running.
Cool. Okay. Why a superhero game?
Well, I mean, I love superheroes and superpowers of comic books or comic books forever. But beyond that, really, it wasn't about the fact that I wanted to play this game because it was a superhero game. It was because of the players involved. So that's why I jumped on this trip. But beyond that, dude, it's superhero.
Yeah, superheroes. Exactly. How much do you know about Marvel?
Probably a little more than the average bear.
Okay. Well, on like one being, I have no idea who any of these people are.
Wolverine what?
And so, yeah, Wolver who? And then I don't know why they call him a Wolverine. Like Wolverine have stripes, okay, or whatever. And all the way being 10, being like Charles Xavier made me his own personal X-Man, yay! Like from 1 to 10.
I would place myself maybe around a 6 or 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, compared to say Josh Jackson.
I would place myself maybe around a 9 or 10.
Okay. Because
I have to take it. It's a curve.
Right.
You know, when you introduce everybody, that curve gets
just a little wider.
Yeah.
Okay. So a 9 or a 10. Okay. What do you want to see or get out of this game and in this game world? That's an intentionally broad question.
Fun.
Okay.
And fun being able to listen to other people's creativity and then bounce my creativity off of that, and then for us to build a fun story.
Okay, when you say fun, what's fun to you? When you read a comic book,
yeah,
and you pick up a comic book and you're like, okay, and then you read the comic book, you put down the comic book, and you go, oh, that was fun. What makes it fun? Is it fun like, oh, we just learned more about Logan's backstory, and his plot was really, really cool? Is fun they just tackled the Dark Phoenix and they went up against Mr. Sinister and long shot through the thing and it hit the shield and everybody roar? Is it the action fun? Is it the plot fun? Is it what is fun to you in a comic book? Yes, the whole thing.
Yeah,
okay.
It's the whole package. I mean, when I look at a piece of art, I critique it as a whole. So when I look at a comic book or a movie or anything like that, I critique it as a whole. And then I critique how this fits. So comic books critique the way it's presented right off the bat. The cover, the artist, the colorist, these things all matter. the guy who designs the look of the book, because like Sin City, as opposed to so highly stylized books, I love those. Generically drawn books are forgettable.
Okay.
So, and I feel the same way about characters.
Okay. So which do you like better? 4-color or graphic novel? Let me pause on that question.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. What type of game universe would you like to see us play in?
Marvel.
Okay, Marvel. Obviously, Marvel.
Marvel.
Okay.
Yeah.
A bright, happy, shiny 4-color comic book. Merry Christmas, here's a picture of Captain America punching Hitler in the face. Or Dark Knight, a Killing Joke graphic novel. Which is DC, I understand, but still, that is one of my favorite graphic novels of all time.
Epic dramatic story. I really gotta say, I like them both equally, and I like them both for different reasons. So I'd say anywhere that has contrast and runs somewhere in the middle between those two.
Okay.
If it can have peaks and valleys in either direction, as long as it has peaks and valleys in either direction. Because if it's straight down the middle, like I said, that's those forgettable stories. Like, oh, you remember that story about? No, you don't, because it was boring and no one cares.
Okay. So then, back to that original question. So what do you like more? The 4-color, happy, bright, or the dark graphic novel Punishers, Deadpools? I mean, what do you want? Do you like the darker comics? Do you like the lighter comics?
I don't like Archie.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's the lighter, right?
Right.
I can't stand that. I don't like. I really don't like books meant straight up as a joke. I can't stand those. But really, like graphic novels, they feed my binge. They feed my binge,
Mm-hmm.
and it has some grit. From the art perspective, nothing really gets my imagination going by seeing fantastic, solid artwork that goes with some really fun concepts and writing. Say like New 52 for DC.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that stuff was really colorful and fantastic because they're introducing all these new people and they're also playing with the old characters. Marvel did the same thing. They got some new stuff. I can't put a pin in. I appreciate them both.
Okay.
Very equally.
Okay, let me ask you this. Lady Thor. Joss Whedon has put forth the premise that he would like to see Thor be a female.
Yeah.
Which, of course, we know Thor, being the son of a king, and now being owned by Disney, if he were to be made female, he'd be a princess, a Disney princess. Well, thoughts?
Well, while I feel like it's forced, I have no issue with anybody that can take on the mantle or whatever. I don't care.
He wants Katie Sackhoff from Battlestar Galactica.
She's cool. I like her as an actress. She's
So
good.
do I. Big plus there.
But his name is Thor.
Well,
then it's a mantle of Thor.
Yeah.
So that's kind of this is the issue that they did not foresee when they made Thor into a Marvel character.
Whomsoever holds this hammer
So who does
is worthy.
So who does Thor become when he doesn't have the hammer?
Dr. Blake.
No, that's not the same. You know it. But
Doctor in finger quotes, Blake.
So right, I mean he's still an Asgardian.
Right.
He doesn't change into someone else. He's still Thor.
Okay.
So there's two Thors.
Right.
And they had to create the mantle of Thor as a separate entity, and because they had to do that within this instance, and if because of the whole Disney thing, it feels a little pushed.
Okay. Okay.
Beyond that, I think it's a great move. It'll help get other demographics into comic books, which are more than steadily pouring in.
Okay.
So,
what level of personal horror do you want to see in the game?
I gotta say, to be honest, it's extremely hard for me to have personal horror. Really hard.
Is it just because your limits are so far out there?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard pressed to find anything that's going to wow, that was horrific. I'll be like, wow, that was pretty cool. It's not. Nothing ever pulls off the personal horror. So.
Okay.
The whole world's PG to me anymore.
Okay. All right. To what level do you want the inclusion of other Marvel superheroes?
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
I mean, well, but on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being we saw the Osprey for like 4 minutes, and then there was Clown Boy and Wrenchman, who nobody's ever heard of, or we're one of Xavier's X-Men, and we're on the inside in Danger Room, and like from one level to the other. Excalibur called, and they want me to join.
I say like a 6 or 7.
Okay.
Like a little bit more than an average.
Okay.
So like, have so that way it gives it some dynamic.
Okay. Tell me about your character.
Where you want me to start?
Start at the beginning. Go from there. What's your character's name?
His name is Niall Essex, but it's not really Niall Essex. He thinks it is. His real name is Malachi Guthrie of the Guthrie clan. The real story is that he was given up by the Guthrie clan, as they have done for every one of their children, in the Nazi universe that John's character is from.
Okay.
And in that universe, Professor X, his brain has been severed from his entire body, and it is installed into the Danger Room, and it runs the Danger Room, which is no longer a Danger Room. It's a programming room. So they basically are building super, not heroes, I guess, super
Entities.
Characters. Yeah, they're building super characters with the help of Mr. Sinister and Arcade, and they are building them, and Arcade is helping program them, and Professor X is laying everything down psychically, and he is an unfinished character. He's an unfinished, I guess, drone, and Blink shows up, and she's a freedom fighter from that universe, and she shows up, starts popping in, unlocking all these doors, letting all of us out, and she's opening up portals, pushing us through, and Professor X's brain, who has taken care of Niall, or Malachi, the whole week of his life, he's basically tried to, when he wasn't mandated not to, he tried to show my character and all the other characters as much, I don't know, grace? Is that the correct term? As much, he does what Professor X always does, for every...
As much tutelage.
Yes, as much as he could when he wasn't being watched, when he wasn't being, actively told not to, so then he could, So he was taking care of me, and as soon as he saw what was going to happen, he erected all these barriers in my brain that let me be me, a unique person, as opposed to a drone was built to be. And Blink had to destroy Professor X's brain, and he knew it, and that's why he let everyone go, and she killed Professor X, and then as she pushed my character out, a lock of her hair and a portal closed, and it severed the lock of her hair, so I have that, but as it was severing, she was killed, and so that was it. I was just kind of dumped into this realm, this reality, and this time. So what Niall, or Malachi, believes is that he was being built by Apocalypse and Mr. Sinister as a horseman for war.
Okay.
And as a horseman for war, what all the duties come with that. So they were being downloaded basically into his brain. So he has like half or quarter of what he should know, and he's just going to have to work with what he's got. So after he was dumped into this realm, he reached out with whatever senses he could, and I have communication with cybernetics at amazing class, or 50. And so he reached out and was trying to get his bearings, and he understood that he was in a world that he never knew that was possible. He always knew war, in the war-torn world, because it was downloaded as such. So so basically he found the Morlocks by crawling through the sewers. Mind you, he's still kind of half-formed. He doesn't look fully formed. In his face, you can see under his skin and stuff like that. And he found the Morlocks, or rather the Morlocks found him, and they brought him back, and he was able to create things for them, to create food, to build a shelter, almost as if it were a miracle. It just happens. And they found him very kindly, and while he was down there, Longshot shows up with Legion and with Blink from another world. They drop, or she drops those two off, and then she leaves. And seeing her, I was immediately interested and started talking to Longshot and Legion. And they were telling me all sorts of things, getting me acquainted with the world around myself. And so basically they were on a mission to do something else, so they left. And I was kind of left here alone. And then I saw Rico's character, Angel, and I saw L's character. Does he even have a name?
Yes, he does, but I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, so Josh Elliott's character. And I'd seen those two moving along, doing things, so I interacted with Elliott's character. Because he seemed to be more of my temperament of, be damned the consequences, we have to do what's right in the long term, sort of, survival mentality. So yeah, I contacted him last intro, I guess, and then here I am.
Okay.
That's it.
You said you were programmed. Did you have any enemies programmed?
The X-Men.
Anybody else?
Well, Professor X in particular.
Okay. Were you programmed with any friends?
The Horsemen of Death, the Horsemen of, what is it, Famine and Disease?
Famine and Pestilence.
Pestilence, yeah. So just the other Horsemen, but I don't even know who they were or who they are or even if they're in my realm. So I guess I would have like this immediate affinity to 3 other people that I don't even know.
Okay. Let's go over your stats.
And Mr. Sinister, but that's been blocked by X. Okay, stats.
Face rip. Fighting?
We're at 75 monstrous.
Okay. Agility?
75 monstrous.
Ouch, you rolled well. Strength?
75 monstrous.
Endurance?
150 shift X.
Nice. How'd you end up with 150?
I put my 100 into endurance and I ended up...
you had a natural roll with a boost? Yay.
No.
Or was
it's
it
because I was an induced mutant.
Ah, that's right.
And
That's
it gave
right.
me that one ability boost.
Okay.
Shift.
So what's your total health?
475.
475. All right. Now, your mental acuities, your RIP. What's your reason?
40.
Okay.
Incredible.
What's your intuition?
20, which is excellent.
Excellent. And what's your psyche?
100, which is unearthly.
Excellent. Now, why the high psyche instead of the reason and the intuition?
Because those are the barriers that Professor X has blocked up.
Awesome. So what's your starting karma?
160.
160. All right. Do you have a popularity right now?
No.
Do you have resources right now?
10.
10.
Which are good.
Which are good. They're good.
I don't really need resources though.
Right. Right. Well, you don't because you can and we'll get well. Let's go over why you don't.
Okay.
What are your powers? What can you do?
Molecular conversion at 100, which is unearthly, and I can play with molecules at pretty much
like billiards. Like you put them on a little tiny molecular sized pool table and.
Not quite.
No.
Not quite.
Okay.
Not exactly. I can reorder them.
Okay, so you can turn lead into gold.
Yeah.
You were an alchemist.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is I only have organic chemistry as a talent and not straight up chemistry.
Oh.
So I can't.
So you can turn gin into tequila.
I could turn anything into organic anything.
Ah, got it. All right. What's your next power?
It's True Flight.
Okay.
Which is at 75 monstrous.
Okay.
So that's 135 miles per hour on land and water. Is that running?
That's flying.
Okay. Because I kind of drag my feet, make it look like I'm running.
Well, you can fly slower than that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to do the Mario jumps and all.
Wow. Okay, then.
At high speeds in the air, it's 450 mile an hour.
Okay. Next power?
True invulnerability at 100 unearthly.
What does that do?
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Meaning, for our listeners at home who may have never, they're like, we've never read a comic book. This sounds cool.
True invulnerability of 100. Basically, it makes me tougher than the Hulk, along with my endurance. So, yeah.
So you could take a beating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Now, what's the difference between true invulnerability and body armor? Because you could have like body armor at 100, right?
Yeah, you got a body armor. Yeah, but once you get past your armor, then you're screwed.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
or you could take
past
true vulnerability.
Yeah.
So can you be poisoned?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
Or is it you can, but I'll let you believe you can't?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Here, eat this.
Yeah.
What? No. All right. What's your next power?
Regeneration at 50, amazing.
Okay.
It seems kind of redundant.
Would you like to drop regeneration?
Could I?
Do you want to?
I don't really need it. So yeah, sure. That'd be fun to find out another.
Okay, we'll give you a generic slot at
Okay.
50
Okay.
that we will look into. Perhaps something will happen early on, and we'll sprout something different that's interesting.
Okay. And I have communication with cybernetics at 50,
Okay.
which is amazing.
Okay.
And the last two that I have are disintegration at 75, which is monstrous. Spontaneous matter creation missile at 75, monstrous.
Okay. Now, are you tying those two together?
Yes, I am.
So you're going to make disintegration missiles.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
I'm still not quite solid on how that works. I guess we'll find out on the fly.
Okay. Because how are your missiles generated?
I'm pretty sure I said last time I shot slivers of bone through my arm like a machine gun.
Okay. We can do it that way. Some folks wear an apparatus, Iron Man, a la Iron Man, although his is energy creation. There's a little difference there. Okay. Or you could...
I don't even have to have it come out of my arm, do I? I can just have it come out of me.
Yes. Well, but that's why I ask. Because if you say I shoot bone spurs out of my arm that hit and disintegrate things, then if your arms are tied in front of you, you can't shoot backwards.
Okay. Well, I like the idea of like quills sort of popping out and spraying. So
Okay.
that was cool.
Okay. Then we'll go the quill route, because that way you could the palm of your hand or whatever and just and that would be fine. But then you would get the availability that your hands are tied. Okay, I shoot them on my feet or my back or the back of my head or whoever. Okay. That's perfectly fine, but it is something that we want to nail down.
Shoot a bone sliver out of my face.
Yeah, just it comes straight out of your eye, whatever, out of your nose.
It'd be like the reverse of Lucio Fulci's zombie, where it pulls. You have not seen that?
I've not seen
There's
this.
a splinter part where she's hiding behind a door. Zombie punches through, grabs her by the back of her head, and slowly pulls her eye into the splinter. And it lasts like 15 minutes.
Ow.
So it's pretty gnarly. So it'd be like the reverse of that, and then expelling it.
Okay. All right. But that is something we want to iron out so that I don't screw you with it later. And you go, oh, man, that's not even like, oh, how can I? Well, that sucks. So I don't want to literally tie your hands.
Yeah.
I tie the palm of his hands together and then put super glue on them so that they touch, and he can't do any of that. So
Shoot it out
shoot out your own hand.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Oh, I couldn't do that. I couldn't
Could
do
you?
that, could I?
Could you?
I couldn't.
No. So as long as you're like this,
Vulnerability,
like,
oh.
blur. Oh, I'm invulnerable to my own spikes.
Damn it.
Yeah, right. And that's why
Okay.
I want to go over this
Yeah.
and why I want a little time here is because some people, this guy, will think of ways to go,
I like that. I like that omnidirectional.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
always then it only shoots out of my hands, not the way to do it.
No.
No.
It only shoots out of my pinky finger. Only this knuckle.
Right,
Only
yes.
one bent.
Right, exactly.
If it's
Only
not
if it's
bent-
straight, I'm screwed. I
Yeah.
got nothing. Right. In which case, I will put your finger in a splint. First thing the bad guy will do is splint his finger. No! Right. So we will get that because part of my job as the storyteller is to
Yeah.
find ways to T-bone your characters.
Yes.
Just so it's good to be omnidirectional is always nice. It's always a good thing. Okay, you got any other powers?
New.
Tell me about your contacts.
The Morlocks, and in specific, Callisto, the leader of the Morlocks. Longshot and Legion. And I didn't say Blink because I saw Blink die. This is a different Blink. I don't know this Blink. So.
Right.
And I don't know anybody else really beyond Longshot, Legion, and Morlocks and Callisto.
Okay. Okay. Then let me go here. So, what role do you think you'll play if this group should happen to become a team, which I'm not going to guarantee they will? That might have to happen organically. What role might you think you would play in the team?
And see, here's the issue, because we have some overlap, and some of the overlap that we have is just it's hard to find your actual spot with it.
Where do you think you might start? I mean,
Well, the shield to start the tank.
The tank?
Yeah, the guy that jumps out and hurdles himself in front of shit or stuff. Sorry. Beep.
It's okay.
And
the S word's okay. The F word, yeah, we'll bleep those.
okay. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm shooting for more introspective. Like, he was built as a machine, and he's 2 weeks old. Literally, he's 2 weeks old. So he's still trying to catch up and understand and, realize the actual picture, not the picture that's been installed. And,
Okay.
So I guess he's similar to a teenager, but with, the powers of a president sort of deal.
Okay.
Like he thinks this is how things should be, but that's not how things are. And doing those things to solve those things that you see that are wrong are probably going to just cause more problems because you're not taking into account the reality of the situation, just what's been programmed.
Okay. How would you categorize your character? As a hero, a vigilante, or an anti-hero?
Anti-hero.
Okay. Who's your big...
That may change. That may flop to superhero. I'm looking to possibly, through the story, the overall story, of swapping him as some like.
Now, when you say anti-hero,
Yeah.
one of the first things I think of is the Punisher.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the Punisher had you could draw a direct line between the Punisher and the mob boss that called the hit that killed his family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who would we draw a direct line between Nile, Malachi, and who?
Mr. Sinister and above him, Apocalypse.
Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse. Okay. All right.
And underneath him is Arcade.
Okay. That helps. That fleshes that out.
So basically, anyone employed by them in any fashion is fair game.
It's fair game. Okay. All right. Are you a force for good?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Are you willing to do bad things?
Oh yeah.
Then are you really a force for good?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
Chaotic good.
Oh, see, and that was going to be my next question was, if you had to put yourself into an alignment, what would it be?
Oh, it's chaotic good.
Chaotic good. So stuff just happens, but you...
I am going to make things, that's how he's built. I'm going to make things better. And that's it. Like if people get in the way, we're going to have problems because I'm here to make things better. And if you're against me in any way, then you must be here to make things worse.
So you're very black and white, very cut and dry.
Yeah.
Are there shades of gray?
He's 2 weeks old. Am I skinned?
Beyond that, there's no shades of gray. It's black or it's white.
Not right now. Not right now. I am looking to stratify the character and make him more dynamic as he takes in more experiences and realizes, life as opposed to the download.
Okay. Excellent. Got any questions? Anything last minute? Anything you want to go over? Anything you're confused about? Anything you want clarification on?
Not a whole lot. Should I describe what it looks like?
Yeah.
Okay. So his getup is very Sinister inspired. He's got that semi-translucent gray skin, and it looks like it's kind of wrapped over, I guess kind of quasi-elfin features, wouldn't it be?
Mm-hmm.
And he's got that red diamond on his forehead, and a diamond. It looks kind of like a scarring cut into his face and forehead. So it goes down from the point right underneath his bottom lip, and it goes outward to the middle of his eyes, and then goes back inward to a point somewhere on the top of the head.
Okay.
So the diamond is kind of almost center within it. He's got red eyes, full sclera. He's 6'5", 313 pounds. In his memories, he remembers having black hair, and it was cut in a German military style, but he obviously has no hair. So that's like...
That's a little different.
Yeah, he might clue in on that at some point in time. Let's see. Obviously, he's a male. If he were to have a normal face, he would look somewhere around 29.
Sinister armor.
Yeah, sinister armor. Got the cape.
Cape, huh?
Yeah, the
Pro
sinister
cape.
Yeah.
You've heard Edna Mode's take on that, right? No capes.
I have true invulnerability.
Oh, so you could get sucked into a jet engine. You're not going to care. Okay.
I mean, the jet.
The jet is going to worry.
Regret.
Right. This is true. Okay.
Or regret, if you want to say it wrong, like everyone. So yeah, he also has a helmet, and it's the helmet of war. It's got I don't even know how to describe that. It's very. The helmet itself has like a kind of like a cross between samurai and Viking.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Inverted horns instead of straight up.
Yeah.
And then with this faceplate.
Yeah, with the faceplate of this
cougar, panther,
puma.
Yes,
Puma.
Very nice.
It's
nice.
It's a skull face that the mouth opens up so you can see the inside.
Oh, so the visor is the teeth come up to the forehead.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
we're gonna have to Photoshop all that together.
Yeah, I'd like to. But so yeah, that's his normal get up. You know, just like any regular superhero. Superman wears this all the time.
Yeah.
Yep. Skulls.
Yeah.
You know, horns.
Yeah, it's Superman. Right. I thought you were describing Superman when I started, and I was like,
that's what I was saying.
I was like, wow, rip off of Superman, right there.
I think that's everything. I think that's he goes by Nile, and he's an induced mutant. That's my origin.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it.
Excellent. You glad? He's a good character. You like it?
Yeah, I do actually.
You think this is gonna work?
Well, I like. Everyone else had this idea of what they wanted. That's not how my head works. I have to have something on the canvas already, and then once I have all those things, then I can start moving stuff around.
Right.
And then I can come up with really fun, interesting characters. But if I already have, I found that every time that if I already have this concept of what I want to do first, and then get there and make the character, it's going to be flat and two-dimensional, and I don't have any fun with it.
Okay.
So
yeah, yours was by far the most interesting character creation from the standpoint of a lot of the other folks came in and said, I want to do a guardian angel, or I want to be, a demi-human, or, a demigod, or I want to be, John had a very fleshed out idea where he wanted to go right before. And you were like, hey, roll me some random stuff and let's put it together. And the fact that it was as random, it wasn't completely random. It kind of flowed ish.
Yeah.
But it was far more random than the other characters.
Oh, yeah.
And, well, not far more random. It's odd. The choices that you made and the randomness that came together are far more diverse than the other characters.
Yeah.
And that seemed unique. I didn't know where you were going to go with it, and you right, and you didn't either. And I heard alarm bells when I said, when you're like, just give me some powers and let me do the thing. And I was like, this may not turn out well. I thought it turned out fine, because a lot of people really, really have problems with it, because a lot of people say, oh, I want to be like Iceman, or I want to be like, kind of Superman-esque, only without that stupid kryptonite.
You mean I want to be a god and have no challenge in the game?
Well,
yeah, I win.
Well, and that's the idea, is there is a degree of that in the Marvel Universe of wanting to win, because ultimately you're going to face someone who has goals different than you, and there are a lot of times when that goal, rectifying those two viewpoints, comes down to, I want to stand face to face and exchange punches to the face, and I'm going to stand up longer than the other guy, so therefore I win.
Yeah, therefore I win.
And that's not always the best outcome.
I have an anecdote. Have you ever read, it's not Young Avengers, Runaways?
No. I've heard it's really good.
There's a part where Punisher shows up, and he's like telling him what to do, and there's this little girl on the team. Her name's Power Girl, and she's exactly that. Like she slugs like the Thing.
Nice.
And she got mad at him because he was being mean. So he gets slugged in the stomach by Power Girl. He's just a person.
Right, he's just a human.
And for, I think, the next 10 frames, something like that, they're all saying stuff, and he's just standing there. And then they all leave, and it's like the last frame, and it says a soldier never falls. And he says it kind of, and that was it. So to show how hard, he's like, I'm not going to lose. He doesn't fall.
Right.
Like that?
I guess you got to have moral victories, right? Because I noticed he didn't hit her back.
No.
No. Because that would not end well for him. No. Okay. Excellent. But no, I'm glad it came together the way it did. And I'm because a lot of people, if you give them that free range and you say, okay, here's one from column A, two from column B, one from column D, and one from column L. And they go, well, what in the hell am I going to do with that? I wanted to be like Iron Man. Like, why do I have gills and water freedom? I don't even know what to do with this.
all sorts of story ideas. That's what I'm saying. You know, when I've run games before, I like to mess with my players. I like to change sometimes things on their sheet.
Okay.
I love doing it. A lot of people hate it. The thing is I give this with a caveat of what I take away, I will compensate. And the longer you go without, the bigger it will be. So if I take something away and give something else to you, the same game, it's going to be roughly equivalent of what you have. If I feel like maybe something's a little underpowered, but I want to see you struggle, then I'll take something away, watch you struggle, go a couple games, and give you something back that is more powerful than what you had before, that will help you immensely. Because there is no character without struggle. If there's no struggle, there is no story, and I am absolutely bored, which is kind of why I don't like Superman.
Right.
So,
Because he always wins.
right, and also why I like Marvel more than I like DC. Because Marvel deals with real world struggles, things that are not really dealt with. Like, it's just totally glossed over in DC. Like, oh, and that's taken care of. No, it's not.
Right.
You know, there are things that need to be talked about, and they're fun, fantastic story avenues that you're just totally missing out.
Yeah, they do tend to just spackle over it and go, well, we're done.
Yeah, and that's not that. I live for the plot holes. I live for, in games like this especially, losing isn't losing. Losing is, ooh, that's going to be really fun because that causes this quirk in his story and the personality's going to change, and it's just as fun to lose as it is to win. And a lot of people don't get it.
Even though they don't.
So,
Well, it's good to hear that. That'll do us tonight for Gaming with Scott. Say good night, Marty.
good night, Marty.
That's it tonight for us on the Gaming with Scott podcast. You can always send us an email at gamingwscott@gmail.com or catch us on Twitter. Josh Elliott is at Asmodee369. John is at JPMGarlic. Josh Jackson is at ActionJack853. Rico is at R1C0. Or me, Scott T, at GamingWScott. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/GamingWScott. Don't forget to check out nerdsdom.com for all their reviews and other great podcasts. Remember, be the superhero you always wanted to see in the world. As always, you'll be hearing from us real soon.